Why did you leave South Africa?
I went to ride a bike race in Cape Town, and my kids, who were 6, 5, and 4 at the time, were being looked after by my parents. And as they drove into the driveway, some guys came in, put guns to their head, and that was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back. So we decided at that point we're gonna make the move.
So tell us about, now you came here since you're 40, no roots in the legal community when you get here. And now you guys probably do what, like 500 cases a month?
300 maybe. I've got an interesting story about that.
Yeah, it's crazy, yeah.
So,
welcome to this episode of Bourbon of Proof, where we interview those who have been both successful at law and life. And today we have someone that's been successful at neither. Just kidding.
Yeah.
We have Mr. Deon Goldschmidt. Deon, how are you?
Thank you, nice to be here.
That's a New Jersey accent?
It is. It's New Jersey, bit of Bahamas thrown in. I spent half my time in New Jersey and half in Bahamas.
Offshore Deon. And of course, our esteemed co-host, Mauro Fiore Jr.
As always, Bob, I'm happy to be here.
I guess. And we're always honored to be here filming at Bike Shed in downtown Los Angeles in Tom Hardy's private bar. It's beautiful here. We're just not allowed to touch his good shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you brought the crap.
We bought the crap. So speaking of crap, we like to start with the pour, but since we're filming at about 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, we're gonna start off with a little something nice. What do we got here, Mauro?
This is from Tennessee. This is from Stillhouse Spirits. It's a black bourbon, no jokes, Bob. A blend of corn, rye, and coffee. So it's a coffee bourbon.
We'll give it a
shot. And it's in a. When I was a kid, this was where you'd get paint thinner in this kind of thing. So
You still do.
I don't know.
Is that like $6?
So something you know about Deon is he drinks like 6 Red Bulls a day.
Oh,
That's
God.
true. That's true.
That's
Very little bourbon, but when in Rome.
When in Rome. Mauro and I we were in Austria last week, and we were at Red Bull headquarters.
Yeah,
Crazy
in
impressive.
Salzburg. And the building is like built over the water. Can you imagine the money that Red Bull has?
They offer free Red Bull?
Yeah, they actually have we went, like there was this crazy, they have it's called Hangar 6 or 7, but they have it inside. We gotta do, what is this South African bullshit? Cheers.
Oh, you got a cheers in this country. Okay.
Cheers.
There we go.
Cheers.
We generally just drink.
To street lawyers and street justice, this is the cup.
Thank you. Cheers. Good to be here after a 3-hour train ride from San Diego.
This is pretty good.
Not
It doesn't
bad.
taste like coffee at all to me.
Little.
For a coffee bourbon, it's really good, but it doesn't taste like coffee.
Must be the paint thinner that dulls it down. So Deon, we're going to talk a lot about your story. What we want to learn about is how you made the transition from being, do they call them barristers in South Africa?
So in South Africa, you've got attorneys and advocates. It's kind of like trial attorneys here would be regarded as an advocate there, and then you've got attorneys who prep the stuff, hand it over to the advocate to run the trial.
So were you what were you?
I was an attorney.
And then you made the transition coming to California and now run a very successful firm in California, Texas, and Nevada now, right? You're in Vegas.
That is correct. Yeah.
Everywhere.
You got to love the Republic of California because they will let anybody take their bar exam.
Correct.
As long as you can stand up straight and breathe, they'll let you take the fucking test.
And when I came here, everybody said it was difficult. I'm not sure if Americans aren't that intelligent.
You might be right.
Am I gaining my popularity here?
They did just re-elect Trump, so you never know.
That's true. Hey, I thought we don't talk politics
No.
on the Bourbon of Proof.
Yeah, we do a little. We've had
A
politics a
little
little
bit,
bit.
okay.
You know, Mauro and I are now opposite ends of the spectrum on there. So I'm on the left on this. I'm the only one on the left of the set and on the
My
policy.
buddy over here.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, anyway, fuck you guys.
We'll bring you over slowly. Yeah.
So tell me, how long did you study for the California bar exam?
I started in January. When did I write the exam? In June? Is that when you wrote?
Yes,
So I kind of used it as like I was at work. So from 8 to 5, I would. Those days everything was in a book, and we used to go to Barbary. We used to go to like somewhere in Mission Valley for the Barbary. So I used to spend 8 to 5 studying and that treated as a job.
So what year was this?
That was in 2009.
Oh wow.
Correct.
Wow. So how long did you practice in South Africa?
I qualified and started practicing South Africa in 92.
Wow. So what's the difference? Like what goes on over there?
So it's very, I mean, it's pretty similar. I mean, they call tort delict. I don't know if you've ever
Delict?
heard it. D-E-L-I-C-T, but same thing. Also fault-based. What's quite interesting is they've got, so here we have insurance companies, obviously. Every third party has to have an insurance. There's something called the Road Accident Fund. And every time you put gas into your car, 60 cents in every liter of gas goes to the Road Accident Fund, which is a central government body. So it has its ups and downs. So there's no uninsured people. Everybody has a claim. The downside is general damages are governed by precedent. So if you fractured a femur and it was an open reduction, internal fixation, your general damages would be governed by precedent. You'd look at similar cases, and it's all bench trials. So you don't get the huge verdicts. A trial is always a bench trial. So it took some getting used to it. Trials here are more a show. I mean, can we say that? I mean, you're putting your best foot forward and you've got all these slides and there you're in front of a judge. He's your lord, so it's my lord and my lady. And
Are you wearing the wigs?
no wigs, but certainly the other paraphernalia.
What is the other paraphernalia?
You've got a little bib.
A bib.
A bib, it's a white bib. I can send
I
you
wish
one as a
if
gift.
bibs were in fashion, Mara would be king.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you said that there's not like an unlimited, fund or anything for injuries, because I can tell you that if all the Armenians that are listening to the show would have moved to South Africa immediately. So at least we have there is some.
They just literally skipped to the next episode.
Yeah.
But the process is fairly similar, just getting there in a different way. You've got past meds, you've got future meds, although we don't want to give anybody any ideas, but future meds are dealt with by way of a certificate. So you get a certificate, kind of like a health insurance card in the mail, and anything that's accident related, you don't get paid damages for future meds. You get your certificate, and wherever you want to go, any private hospital, you show your certificate, and the bill gets sent directly to the
Wow,
road
but do they have to
accident
prove that it's accident related?
fund. That can be something that can come up when you go. So it would go before a panel, and if that's a dispute, then you've got to litigate that.
There's some states that are similar to that, like in Pennsylvania, you can get lifetime medical. Like our uncle that was catastrophically injured, he had lifetime medical for a lot of stuff. I mean, it's not perfect, and they always try to.
I didn't know that. I
screw
get clients who tell me that all the time. Oh, my whatever uncle got lifetime medical. I said, shit, that doesn't exist. But I
Michigan
guess
does it too, I
Really?
believe. Yeah.
Damn, I didn't know that. Okay.
But are you contingency based?
Contingency based,
Wow.
but quite interesting. Maximum up to 25%, or double your hourly rate, whichever is the lesser.
Oof.
So, truth be told, is hours can become days, can become weeks. So I think it's safe to say 25% is
going
kind of
rate.
the going rate. So my practice, we charge a third, and we go up to 40%. I'm seeing many of the law firms in LA charging 45, 50%. I can't bring my head around that, maybe because of where I come from, but it just doesn't seem right to me. But bottom line is, contingency based at 25%.
And I know the story. Mauro doesn't know, but why did you leave South Africa?
So we were there, had a good practice. I went to ride a bike race in Cape Town, and my kids, who were 6, 5, and 4 at the time, were being looked after by my parents. And as they drove into the driveway, some guys came in, put guns to their head, made them all lie on the floor, put a gun to my son's head, who was 5, and took the car and took the Rolex and took this and that. And that was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back. So
What city were you living in?
in Johannesburg, yeah.
Johannesburg.
So we decided at that point we're going to make the move, which was kind of interesting. I mean, I had a good practice there. I wouldn't like to say I was the man, but certainly I was well known. And I had to come here at age 40 and
Start over.
kind of start over. And it's, things are tough when that happens, but hey, it builds character, and you learn what's important and you get on with it. So, yeah.
I mean,
So
that's got to be
did you have a relative or that was an American citizen or something? How did you do
my
that?
wife's sister was in Orange County in Irvine, and my wife's mom was in Irvine. We weren't crazy about Irvine, and so we decided to go to San Diego, and close enough for my wife to be happy that she could meet her mom, and far enough away so we could have a bit of a life. And
So are you a legal citizen, or are we going to have to call
no,
somebody?
no, you can. You're not deporting me. I did it legally. Right?
Mauro has fantasies of having half of his family deported.
Yes, they deserve it.
They do, especially the ones you don't like.
Ask Trump, they deserve it. I don't care if they were born here.
Yes, exactly.
They got to go on the first thing smoking, January 2nd, January 20th.
21. I will give them a day.
Oh, Lord.
Nice.
You guys are criminals. So drink up, because I got your second pour here for you.
Really,
buddy.
eh? Well, thank goodness I'm not driving home. Law rides, guys, they give you free rides if you're in car accidents, apparently. They're taking care of me.
Yeah, Law Rides, Bryce. He brought me here. They're the best, man. Law firm rides. I spend more time with Bryce than most people. Anyway, so this is when you brought up, you came here when you're 40.
Yeah.
This bottle was gifted to me when I turned 40.
Which was
will-
last week.
Yeah, right. It'll be 5 years ago in January, whenever this airs. So I'll turn 45 during January 29th, 2025. And somebody gifted me this bottle on my 40th that says, "Happy 40th, Bob. Here's to 100 more from Deon and Kev."
Oh, wow. Wow.
And I waited 5 years to open this till we got you on the show.
And this is Whistle Pig, not a great one, is it?
This is a really good one. This is the Whistle Pig
What
12.
did this cost me?
That probably cost you, I guess, $200, $250. So you must
No,
really like
I
me.
could do better today.
Yeah, you
You know
can.
what? For your 50th, we'll go something better.
Mauro just had his 50th.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
It was
You're getting up there, huh?
Yeah, yeah. It was pretty amazing. I can't believe I'm that old, but
He's strong like bull. So this is a Whistle Pig 12. We've had this on the show before. This is a special one, though. This is the cask finish rye. So this is going to be fairly strong. It's a rye whiskey, so a little more spicy.
What did I bring you from Australia last time? I
You
saw
sent it
you
from your
went through
brother.
those 12 bottles very quickly.
a kangaroo?
Those 12 little bottles.
Yeah, so, why don't you tell everybody what kind of your brother, or is it your brother-in-law that has a company?
That's my brother.
Your brother.
Yeah,
Tell us about
yeah.
that company, because it's cool.
He's it's called Bourbon Brothers. So he was in the insurance industry. He sold out his business to a public company, and now he owns a subscriber-based bourbon and scotch company. So that gift that I gave you, I think, which is 12 different little bottles, everybody gets one once a month. And it's
I've seen Bourbon Brothers bourbon for sale at stores.
I'm not sure if but it's possible.
There's like subscriptions, so he sent
Yeah.
it to me, and I thought it was like an advent calendar. You just had to drink one a day. So I just
Yeah.
drank one.
He
And Jay was like,
drank all
wow,
20
you
in
drank
one
this
day.
fast. I was like, oh, I thought this was a thing.
This was a thing. You had to
cheers.
do
Let's cheers to the 40th birthday bottle.
So Tennessee, this is a Vermont pour. This will be a completely different taste.
Are we
Should be
allowed
okay.
to say l'chaim? Is that like okay?
You can say whatever you like.
Okay,
Cilantro, whatever,
And Bring my people home. Is that okay?
You could say that. I see
Okay.
I see your star.
Bring the hostages
David.
home now. What can we say?
Well, who knows when it airs?
Maybe they'll be home by
Mm-hmm.
then. Please God. Correct.
This one's fantastic.
Now, I've been to South Africa,
Yeah.
and I think I was typical American. They talk so badly about South Africa, and I'm from LA. I figure, okay, I fucking can handle myself. But even I was fucking scared to even get off the goddamn plane. And then I go there and I'm like, this is fucking nice.
It is.
Johannesburg is fucking amazing. It was
Listen.
like Beverly Hills.
Cape Town's you went to Cape Town?
I went to Cape Town too. It's amazing.
You did a safari?
Yeah, yes, I did do.
Watch episode, I think 4. Mara Fiore is the guest. He tells a story about the Big Five getting almost upended by a warthog, killing a baby elephant.
Yeah,
It's
it was
a
an
wild
adventure.
story.
I was in Philansburg.
Don't go.
In the
If you're looking for a nice safari, don't go to
Sun City.
Craigslist.
You went to
That's
Sun
silly.
City?
I was in Sun City gambling,
Palace
of course.
of the Lost City?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
It's a nice place.
Yeah, they had a bunch of casinos.
Yeah, yeah.
I was gambling like a fiend. I had a great time.
Everywhere we travel the world together. Morrow has to find a casino.
Okay.
I never go with them, except with Monte Carlo we went once. But like we were just last week in Austria. The night before we left, it was like 10, 11 o'clock. We had an early flight, so my wife and I go to bed. I get a picture in the morning. He's at the casino.
Well, it was right across from our hotel.
It's amazing, isn't it?
I couldn't pass it up.
And you play golf?
Yeah.
So, I mean, great golf courses, safari, food. I mean, I was there now since 2008, and you lose perspective. You can get a ribeye steak for like $18.
Really?
I ate a lot of biltong when I was there.
I make my own biltong.
Really? That's like everybody eats
biltong?
this. Biltong, it's called.
Biltong.
It's like beef jerky, but just in a different level. I'll make some for you.
And
I love
it's like universal. You can walk anywhere down the street, in any city in South Africa, and they have biltong stores everywhere. It's like it's all that everybody eats.
Yeah.
It's everywhere.
Maro's Mr. Random. Like, we talk to people, and he like knows this part of the world or has been there. Like last week, we're with this guy Max. He's our guide. He's like a windsurfer. Him and his girlfriend are windsurfers. And Maro's like, oh, my best friend Max. He moved to
Chile,
and he's like in this famous town. He's like, really? And then Maro's describing this town. He's windsurfing, and then this guy spends half the time in Costa Rica. It's like, oh, Maro's like, oh, I know that place. And they're talking. I was like, this can't be real. And then he made up a story. I got to find it because while we were doing this, like, he's Mr. Random, and he was telling a story of how he was on stage at the Hollywood Bowl with his band.
I sang with the band Bell and Sebastian, a band I really like from Scotland.
So Bell and Sebastian
No.
was a show we used to watch as kids. It was a dog and the kid, and I guess they named the band after, and I called bullshit. So we were sitting in the back of the car traveling from Christmas market to Christmas market, and I was just looking through these YouTube videos of that show, and sure enough, this motherfucker's on the stage. They invited like 10 people, and then he wouldn't leave. And then he's sitting next to the keyboardist singing a song with this band in the Hollywood Bowl.
Yeah.
Listen, what I know about Mauro is on your Instagram, he seems to go wherever you go, and he's always sleeping. So that's kind of.
I'm Bob's personal valet. I'm his personal valet.
Correct.
But no, Mauro, he's been healthier lately, and he's been killing my content because I have to work hard to catch him sleeping. Before, it would just be with him for 5 minutes and he'll fall asleep.
There you go.
But I like going back to my South Africa point. I think gets a bad rap, but it's a very nice country.
Cape Town's the most beautiful city.
Yeah.
But how long it takes forever to get there, right? From
Oh yeah, man.
You know, a guy like you goes first class, Emirates Airlines, your whole big suite. It's part of the journey. You'll enjoy it. When you want to go, you let me know. I'll come with.
I would love to go with you.
We'll do, I mean, your golf is, my golf is bad. Your golf is terrible. It goes
Terribly
left
good.
before it goes right. But
He's got a little bit of a slice.
Just a little
bit of a slice. But they have bourbon. We'll have some bourbon. We'll play some golf, and we'll do a safari. It sounds good. You just pay for it, and I'll be the.
Yeah, I think
I'll be the guy.
To fly from LA to Johannesburg is like literally the furthest points
Correct.
on the globe from each other.
24 hours.
Yeah.
24 hours.
I flew to Egypt, and then
Yeah.
from Egypt I went to
to South Africa.
flew to
Johannesburg.
Egypt.
With your family or?
No, I was single. This was I went for the World Cup.
Oh, in 2010.
Yeah, I was there for a
Okay.
month,
Nice.
cruising around.
You watched some soccer?
I went to a bunch of games. Yeah, I had a great
You
time.
just that's when you left. You were gone by then.
I was gone 2008, so I wasn't there for that.
So tell us about. I mean, now you came here since you're 40. It's been a few years since then.
It's been a while. It's gone a bit
You've
grayer.
now went from a new startup at 40.
Correct.
No roots in the legal community when you get here.
Yes.
No understanding truly of the personal injury world because it's its own animal here.
It is.
Takes years to understand. And now you guys probably do what, like 500 cases a month? What are you guys pulling?
300 maybe.
Yeah.
300 cases a month amongst all the different
Offices.
offices. Correct.
Damn.
Correct. I've got an interesting story about that.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
So you introduced me to Kevin,
Yep.
your stepbrother.
Yep, Kevin Rotoriano. Shout out to Kev.
Shout out to Kev.
He
So
was-
Kev, you did my first case with me. Do you remember? Brinks Armored Vehicle.
Oh, Christina Sample.
Christina Sample.
Well, we can't say client's name, so we'll just
So we'll just
We'll edit that out.
edit
But
that
what
out.
was public record?
So-
you know what? In that trial, you know what's really funny is my brother Brandon, who I can see sitting in the audience. He tried that case with me, and the motherfucker, right before I gave closing argument, tried to go pour a drink out of this big pitcher of water and spilled it all over the table, all over me, all over him. And it was the most humanizing thing ever, and it was really funny. But yeah, I remember that case.
So
Oh, man.
I met you at Seersuckers downtown. We had so you introduced me to Kev.
Seersuckers, I knew it.
Yeah. He made me pay. What's news? Seersuckers. We went to Seersuckers. You introduced me to Kev, and Kev was at law school at that
Yeah.
time.
Thomas
And
Jefferson.
Thomas Jefferson. And you told Kev, Deon needs help. He's got too much work. So call him and go do an internship there while you're. So Kev would call me once a week, and he'd say, "Hi, Deon, this is Kevin." And I'd say, "Who?" And he'd say, "Kevin, Bob told me to call you because I need to do an internship." And like you fob people, "Oh, Kevin, in a deposition right now. Call me later. 2 weeks later, he'd say, hi, Deon, it's Kev. I'm calling. Do you remember? Who? And eventually he said to me after the fact, I used to call you every 2 weeks, and I would say to my brother-in-law, Arvind, this guy doesn't want me. I keep calling and he keeps saying Kevin who? And eventually I persisted, and we're now 12 years later, and Kev's a superstar. So
yeah, Kevin runs the firm. So Kevin Torriano, who's my stepbrother.
Yeah.
So his mom is sleeping with my dad. They're married.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we were stepbrothers.
I don't know if you sleep together at that age.
That's your
No, they
stepbrother.
do.
They do
So-
at that age.
And I've caught them.
Oh, wow.
Oh, we don't want to hear
My
about
daughter
the
told
gruesome
me.
details.
My daughter told me that sex stops at 43. So I can't be.
With
What
your-
are you? You're 45, buddy. Your time is
You
up.
are sadly
It
mistaken.
stops at 43 with your wife, you mean?
No, I know this because my dad was living in Hermosa Beach at this time, and I was like the backup of his security system. So if the alarms went off, they would call me because he's like partially deaf, and he's just having a good time. So the alarms are blaring at this house, and they call me. And I remember I just got the kids to bed. We had like our newborn, and she was like super feisty. I'm like, the alarm's going off. I'll go over there. So I literally grab the hatchet out of my bed, race over to my dad's house. And by the time I get there, I was there within under 5 minutes. And I get there, and the cop's already outside. So I had to like stuff this hatchet in my like back here because like I don't know if it's legal. I don't know. So I walk in there, and the cops are ready to like go through the front door because it's blaring. The cops are like, you want us to go in first? I'm like, yeah, I want you guys to go in first. And I had to prep. I was like, so my dad, like the bedroom's right here. So if you open the door, because it's the beach house, so it's like the middle floor is the bedroom, up top is where the kitchen, the views are. So they open this door. I'll never forget. The cops bust open this door. They go, well, I had the key. So they open the door and they look in with flashlights. And my dad and Mary, his wife, are sitting in bed, and he sits up like fucking Bane from Batman with his CPAP machine on. And he's like, they were so confused. And like, Mary's just wearing, I think, his t-shirt. Like, they were sleeping together.
At least Mary was wearing a t-shirt.
Oh my God. So then they go clear the house, and we had to shut off the alarm. It was so loud, but they didn't hear it because they have on like their sleep machine sound thing on. He's got his CPAP thing on. They had a few drinks, went to bed. But
she's got cotton wool in her ears because he snores so much.
So then, by the time we get upstairs, they clear the house. My dad's pouring bourbon for these cops.
Nice.
Swear to God. Yeah.
Nice.
In his underwear.
Lovely.
Yeah.
What a sight.
Correct.
Oh my God, it was so. I'll never forget. It looked like Bane from Batman. He just like literally like Bram Stoker's Dracula, but they just go like this. Like, yeah, that's what it looked like. It's kind of entertaining. But
So
yes.
I've been doing this now here for about the same time I was in South Africa. I was in South Africa from 92 to 2008, which is 16 years. And I've been practicing here from 2010 till now. So 15 years. And
but it's got to be much more lucrative here in America.
Yeah. I mean, you've got to learn the game like anything. You've got to learn how it works. That took a couple of years. And fortune, a bit of luck, a bit of hard work, and we're, thank God, where we are today. And I'm 56, and
You look good for 56.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that about 55. But
yeah, I do my best, and a couple more years, and then we'll see where we go.
But how did your kids assimilate to when they were, 6'5", or something like this, and now they're in college? Are they all in college?
One's an investment banker in New York.
Wow.
And the other one's just finished law school, just finished his undergrad. He's going to go to law school. And the other one has got a semester to go, and she'll be a...
Wow.
And I've still got to pay for postgrad, so I've got to carry on working,
Why don't they just go back to South Africa? Are they free secondary education?
No.
No.
But I mean, when I say like $3,000 will pay for your
Really?
yearly tuition, so it's pretty close to free.
I mean, I heard it, like one of our friends were telling us that it'll cost, if you have 3 kids in the American education college system, it'll cost you like room, board, all of that. If they don't have help, $1 million.
Well, I've got 3 kids,
Yeah.
and undergrad is done. I'm at $1.2 million.
Jeez, I mean, this is insane.
I'm at $1.2 million, and we've still got 7 years of postgrad to go. So
Yeah, I mean, our friend Gary Dordick, I remember when he had 5 kids in college or law school all at the same time, and he said it was costing him like $600,000 a year for all 5 of them.
Bizarre.
And he had and what, 4 of them went to law school or whatever. So I mean, he spent millions, but I guess that's what you do, right? I mean,
So if
No, but that's what they
I
tell
only
you
have
you're supposed
3,
to
but I'll
do.
pay for all 3 of them too.
So if you could refer 1 or 2 bigger cases to me, that would be appreciated.
We've had some interesting cases together. One was that firework that blew off the hand up at the
Correct.
Chinese church, and
The eye.
the eye.
The guy's eye.
We had a lot
We
of
got
crazy-
5-6 million there.
Yeah.
I was hoping for 7, but you let me down.
this
you know.
guy.
Never satisfied. Our friend Keith Bremer, his firm Bremer White, Brown and O'Meara, I think it's called. They have an office in Johannesburg.
What?
Because Nicole White is South African.
She's South African, yeah.
And she's,
Oh,
and
that's-
they have
I
an
wonder.
office there, and she's still
Correct.
licensed there. And Keith told me she does a lot of work still in South Africa. Do you know her?
She's one of the best
I've-
law lawyers.
Yeah, I've spoken to her. She's associated with a guy by the name of Brian Khan in South Africa, and I know him from my South African days. So yeah, they apparently have some kind of association. She seems very nice.
But when you came here to San Diego, you had to do other businesses, right? Because for what we do in contingency world, it takes 18 months or so for it to start getting paid.
Well, no, the biggest issue was to get in, I needed a business. So
Oh, is that the rule?
that's the rule. So I had to spend $1 million buying a business or whatever it was.
You're about to
like investment visas?
Investment
yeah,
visa,
okay.
You're about to explain the investment
B-
visa, but Mario's about to be very
B12?
interested in your story. He does not know this about you.
So I came here and opened up 4 massage
Is that right?
places, kind of like Massage Envy. It was called Massage Heights.
Massage Heights
Yeah.
or Hides?
Heights.
Massage heights.
And we had that for about 1.5 years until I got the necessary visas and stuff. And then I sold that at a loss and then started on the legal route.
So what's the investment like? I thought it was like 500 grand, 750 grand. You put in
You
business.
either have to put 500,000 into a investment area, which is so like a Seattle or that type of thing, or you can buy your own business, show that you're employing enough individuals, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah,
So,
I think it has to be invested into an area that's like underdeveloped,
Correct.
that needs
Correct.
business to go into it. So if you invest in an underdeveloped area, then you can invest 500,000, and they give you a green card, not only to you, but your whole immediate
Correct.
family gets a green card.
yeah.
Yeah.
That explains what's going on down in Alhambra.
Wow.
So we did that.
That is
did that for 2
quite a
years,
job.
and then I remember the first case I did for an injury case was one of my massage therapists at Massage Heights had an accident, and I did intake because
By the way, they do all their intake. Him or Kevin talk to every single client
Every
that calls.
single- yeah.
It's crazy. At that volume, it's
What?
crazy.
Correct.
I'm with Kevin all the time.
Holy
He's on the phone
smoke.
constantly with people. Yes.
And you know what? The benefit of that is 70% of our work that we get today is from referrals, because when you see people yourself and you create relationships, you get work back. You know what I mean? So, so I do my first intake and I'm like, what insurance company do you have? Bear in mind, in South Africa, we've got SA Eagle and we've got this and and she says USAA. And I'm like, can you spell that for me? And I look back on that, I'm thinking, she must think, what a fucking idiot is this guy? He doesn't even know the name of the insurance companies.
But Deon's also tried cases.
I've tried I've tried 12, 13 cases.
And his,
Some good, some bad. We can talk about that.
but he's very entertaining.
Well, if you're not losing, you're not trying.
Correct.
No, but he the medical bill story is one of my favorite ones. So why don't you go ahead and tell that, because
So
I think it's funny.
I'm in front of the jury. They tell me I sound intelligent. Quite frankly, I'm not intelligent. I do my best. But I'm talking in front of the jury, and we get a verdict at the end of the day. Not bad, not good, middle of the road. And then I'm talking to the jury afterwards, and they say, "What are medical bills?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" "Well, you kept talking about these medical bills." And I'm actually saying medical bills. So now when I do something, I've got to say medical bills instead of medical bulls. Because I just say bill. And bill sounds to me like bill, but apparently you've got to say bill to get the jury to understand what the hell you're
He
talking about.
thought they were talking about medical bulls.
Correct.
I've never heard of a medical bull. But
But
I'd ask you
maybe
too.
that's why the award wasn't as high as it should have been.
Maro has a few medical bulls in his house.
yeah.
But if you've got a moment, I've got a nice story to tell you. You wanted a war story of one of my trials. So I'll be quick because I don't want to bore anybody here. We have a premises case. A lady is at her friend's house in a condo complex, and they're walking through the condo complex, and you got these concrete steps. So she alleges one of the concrete steps is loose, and she falls on the concrete step, and she suffers no fractures, but lower back pain, this, that, the other. So we take on the case. She goes and sees Dr. Brizzy in San Diego. He's doing epidural injections. There's a surgery recommendation. She's in a lot of pain, got a lot of problems. We go all the way to trial. We get an offer before trial of like 100 grand. The meds are 120, so we don't take the offer. We're in trial. I stand up. I give my whole opening statement and how bad this woman is and poor lady, etc., etc. And then I take her through her testimony, and then there's cross, and I see a manila envelope come out. You know that manila envelope that comes out, and he's like, ma'am, have you ever visited this premises before? She says, yeah, I visited my friend once there before, and he pulls out a lease agreement. He says, but ma'am, I've got a lease agreement here saying that you lived there for 3 years yourself before this accident. She's like, yeah, I forgot to mention that. And then he's like, and your friend, they're no longer friends. Your friend that you were with, why were you visiting her? Oh no, we're old friends. And he says, well, I'm going to be calling your friend later. She tells me she's a prostitute and you're a prostitute. And in fact, you were visiting to service some of your clients on that particular day. And you've already testified that you had seen Dr. Brizzy earlier on that day to get an epidural injection. And what were you doing later that night? She says, I can't recall. And he says, well, your friend is going to tell me that the 3 of you were doing a threesome. And you were taking the more active part in this threesome.
Wow.
So can you tell me how, with your epidural injection in your lower back, how this worked?
That actually is better for your case because the epidural allowed her to perform.
You could argue that, but we go further. He then says, and your friend is going to testify that rock that you slipped on, well, you didn't really slip on it. You guys moved it after the fact to make out as though you slipped on it. Oh, wow. And she's like, oh, I don't remember that. Anyway, it's tea time. So we break for tea. And
I'm surprised they offered you 100 grand.
And I'm shocked. The client comes to me and says to me, how are we doing?
I always get shocked by that question.
What do you mean, how are we doing?
I've had clients.
I'm sitting there thinking, fuck. Are we allowed to say fuck on a podcast?
Yeah,
I'm not
sure.
I'm like, fucking hell. So I go back to the attorney and I say, that 100 grand you were offering me, is it still on the table? He says, if she gets back into the witness stands and carry on testifying, we're going to make sure she's charged with perjury. So no 100 grand. She had driven from my office to the courthouse. I said, ma'am, you're on your own. Get home on your own. I'm out of here. Judge, sorry to waste your time. Case dismissed. Wow. We're moving on. So that's, you want to know war story? That comes. Have you ever had that before?
I've never heard the word threesome in any of my trials ever.
There you go. And he had the ads, by the way, of their advertising for it was all there.
Man, this is like,
so we lost that trial, and I moved on.
Yeah.
So that's one of the.
If you would have hired Morrow as a consultant, he would have snipped this out right away.
You would have, eh?
Yes, I would have told you all. They're notorious for their threesome work.
That's why. You know what? I've taken to. I'm very proud to say I no longer run trials. I enjoy my weekends. I don't look through depositions. If I got a trial, I say generally to Ryan Conger, Ryan, here's the case, buddy. You work it up. I'll worry about getting the next one in the door.
I love it.
That's our modus operandi, if you know such a big word.
And Deon, so thanks for coming on the show. I mean, I think one of the reasons we want to talk is, a lot of foreign lawyers are always interested in what's it like to be an American if they can transition. And I think you've done a master class on doing it after being a lawyer for 18 years, right? How long were you?
15, 16
15,
years.
16
yeah.
years, and then to just start over in a
Correct.
brand new area.
Correct.
And thank you for actually picking up the call the 18th time for Kevin to actually hire him.
Best decision I ever made.
Best decision.
Correct.
He's also still the fastest defensive back that was in the draft that year for the NFL.
Correct. Although we had a race in my parking lot the other day, because I don't know if you noticed, he's got a bit of a dad bod, and he's not quite as fast as he
Really?
used to be. You can talk to him about that.
I will talk to him about
Correct.
that. The time is now. So at the end of the episode, we ask you what's your bourbon approved. So you got to pick any of the two whiskeys that we had, or if you have a special one that you like.
Listen, I mean, I'm not a bourbon guy.
You're a Red Bull guy,
I'm a Red Bull guy.
not Red Bill.
And correct. And generally, when I drink with friends, I don't know if it's a South African thing, but Scotch is far more popular than bourbon. But surprisingly enough, bourbon's easier to swallow than Scotch. Much lighter, less. I kind of enjoy both of them. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, there's no bourbon culture in South Africa, right? I mean,
No
it
bourbon.
was an English territory.
Correct, exactly.
Of course, they're going to drink Scotch. It was
Correct,
English. That's why they
exactly.
drive on the wrong side of the road. It really fucked
Correct.
me up when I was there.
But these are easy to drink, so maybe you've converted me and I'll become an alcoholic.
Well, join the club. Well,
if anything-
it's only an alcoholic if it's a problem. If not, it's just a hobby.
Correct.
There we go. Well, Deon Goldschmidt, thanks for coming on this episode of Bourbon to Proof. We appreciate it. We look forward to seeing you in San Diego and having a few of non-Scotch alcoholic beverages.
My pleasure. Great to be here.